Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Wolfie TV. And of course, this is our last home game of the season, the penultimate game of the season. Wolves taking on Everton this Saturday. And I think this is going to be a really interesting game because it's going to be interesting to see how strong a team that we field. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how we play because it looks like we're a bit on the beach against Manchester United. And it's also going to just be interesting to see how much fight that Everton have as well, considering they obviously need points desperately. I'm going to cover all those things in the video as well as jumping into this subject as well. Mr. Jeff Shee, Fosun, because a lot has been said about Wolves and our financial status in what was a really good article released by Liam Keane of the Express and Star. If you've not seen it, guys, he spoke about how at the moment we're dealing with some real financial fair play complications. And the main reason for that is obviously basically George Mendes and the fact that we've had to correct his mistakes and we had to invest obviously a lot of money in January to ensure our Premier League survival. That does mean, though, that unless we see some debt written off by Fosun or some more investment even coming in from Fosun or another investment party, that we are potentially in for a pretty painful summer, which in all honesty, I hadn't really thought about because I thought with Lopetegui at the helm, it was going to be a really good summer and we would definitely be spending. Hopefully, Fosun recognise that if they don't invest, we're probably going to lose Lopetegui, and I don't even want to think about what that does mean for the club. So fingers crossed we can get things over the line and we will see some investment from the club, which means we can basically invest or see some debt written off. But it's going to be a real interesting few weeks for the club, and it's really worth keeping an eye on exactly what is happening. Now, I've just spoke about obviously how heavily we invested in January. Well, our opponents really didn't, did they? In fact, all they did do was sell Anthony Gordon, and they nearly managed to get hold of a player in Danjuma, which, I mean, he ended up at Spurs and has barely played for Spurs. So it was just a whole mess for all parties involved, realistically, wasn't it? But of course, Everton, they were coming to the Molineux needing 3 huge points to have that chance of Premier League survival. I think it's going to make for an interesting game. But as I mentioned before, and if there's ever any Everton fans watching, we kind of put things a little bit on the back foot with Manchester United in the Manchester United game. So seeing Everton, who are going to come with some real fight, and especially now they've got the talisman Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think it'll be interesting just to see how much integrity we bring to the game, how strong a team that we start, and also just how much fight we've got in us compared to a team which is really going to be desperate for a result. Guys, just a quick one for me before we get back to the video. If you're enjoying the video, please do me a favour, hit that like button. And if you've not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to the channel as well. And let's get back to the match preview. Now, I spoke about, obviously, just about the changes. So I think with this one, I think there's a lot of kind of integrity about Lopetegui. So I think he'll respect the league is what I'm getting at. And I don't think he's really going to change too much. I think he'll pretty much play the exact same team which we saw at the start of the Manchester United game. And I think he'll also continue to play Dan Bentley. Now, at the start, when I saw him coming on against Manchester United, I thought that was just a bit of a courtesy kind of, we're safe now, let's give him some game time. I'm now starting to wonder, after seeing how well he played against United, whether Lopetegui is kind of using this time to figure out exactly who his number one's going to be last season. I did think Bentley's distribution looked slightly better than Sarr's, and he looks like a very, very good keeper as well. So it's going to be interesting. I fancy Bentley to continue to play. Other news that we've seen as well, apparently we at the moment want to trigger Nelson Semedo's 2-year extension. All parties involved want to, but financial fair play might mean that we can't. And also another player that I've got on this underneath on the subs is Adama Traore. Apparently, we want to keep him. Adama's open to stay in, but he is kind of flirting, is the kind of word I've used, with other parties. So it's just going to be a real interesting few weeks, I think, for us once the season closes. And there has been other discussions about whether we extend Diego Costa's contract as well. What I've brought up, which is different to usual, is substitutions, because I think this is going to be a game where we have to say some quite emotional goodbyes, really. Obviously, Ruben Neves, we fancy him to go, but I think we'll also see some substitutes made, because I think he'll start the game with real integrity about the league. But I do think we could see some final performances from the likes of Johnny Otto, Moutinho, Adama, Jimenez, players that have been real good servants, and I think for the club, and I think it's going to be quite an emotional day to say goodbye to a few of them. I mean, starting off, I wanted to talk about this guy. He's been Mr. Raul Jimenez. Of course, it's going to probably be his last home game for Wolves, which is, it's just a real sad thing, the way that things have ended. I know the last year things have slightly become more bitter between ourselves and him as well, and slightly, well, say slightly, the majority of that is down to him. Having said that, I hate to think what he's really been through. It's so sad to see that he's trying to still be the player he once was, but his body and his mind and his just mental state, you can just tell he just doesn't have that lethalness which he had, which really did drive us to Europe. But I'm hoping come the weekend we give him a full proper send off, because we'd never be in the we'd never have been in the Europa League without him. So it has been a bit of a sad end to his time at Wolves. But for me, will always be another Wolves legend. Talking about Wolves legends, we're also going to be saying goodbye to this man, João Moutinho. What an absolute hero he has been for the club. I fancy him to get some game time, last home game in the season, to say his goodbyes. I think sadly he's not at this Premier League level anymore, and he will depart. I once wished that he was going to end up part of the backroom staff. I do fancy that he'll probably continue playing in some form now, and we'll probably go back to maybe the Portuguese league for a year or so, you know, obviously where he lives. Adama Traore, another player who is potentially going to leave, and probably the last one I'm going to cover in this video. Just a quick note on Adama. It's just one of them in it with Adama. It doesn't look like he's going to stay. He's been the most frustrating player at times, but also really given us some good joy. And you think back to that time when both him and Jimenez were in top form. What a joy it was to watch. But the main take I have from this is it really is the time to move things along for the club. We're in for a really interesting summer. We'll be keeping you all up to date with it on the channel. And as I said, I want to bring some of you guys onto the channel as well to give your thoughts. So if you are interested in doing so, please do head over to the Twitter, Twitter Wolfie TV, or just drop a YouTube comment and we can sort some way to get in contact with you, because it would be good to get some Wolves fans on over the summer. Score prediction, nearly forgot that. I do think, you know what, I think Everton are just going to be slightly more up for it, in all honesty. So I am actually going to give Everton a win. I'm not really too bothered if they do get the win either, in all honesty, because our business is done. We're safe. And I think that's all that matters. And I think, you know, that's all we really cared about with how the season unfolded. So I am going to go 2-1 to Everton. But guys, please hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you on another video. Take care.